Previously on Oops All Bards. The Bards, still aboard the train to Tabortsava with Acting Secretary of War Gideon Stormcaller, decide to split up and see if they can determine the cause of the train's abrupt stop. Belle and Kellonian narrowly escape an encounter with a mimic in the first-class dining car before proceeding further back. Convinced there is some malice afoot, Clarice reveals her portable hole, which I can assure you is not a euphemism, and tries to get Gideon to hide inside, eventually convincing him with help from Cretaceo. Andric escorts the porter Higgins to the engine and asks the engineer and assistant engineer about what happened to make the train stop. The engineer conveys to Andric that they saw something on the tracks and stopped out of an abundance of caution. The assistant engineer steps outside and walks along the tracks to further investigate, but seems not to see anything that would keep the train from continuing on, so upon his return, the train starts rolling again. Andric escorts Higgins back to the first-class car, but when Higgins sees Gideon attempting to hide in the hole, he reveals his true intentions and attempts to attack the acting secretary. Meanwhile, Belle and Kellonian enter the kitchen car only to be immediately attacked. Kellonian takes knives to both shoulders before putting his assailant, also dressed as a porter, to sleep. The duo ties up the so-called porter with his own belt so that when he wakes, he'll be at least temporarily unable to attack them again. Andric, deciding his companions have the fight against Higgins under control, heads back up the train and investigates the porter room, where he finds hastily stashed street clothes and muddy boots, as well as the coal car, where he discovers a water barrel that probably has a dead body inside. He returns to the first-class car just in time to be attacked by Higgins. However, Higgins has not performed well in this fight against the Bards and is soon killed by a strong kick from Cretaceo. Once the dust of their encounter settles, Clarice and Andric head back toward the first-class dining car, where they find the same mimic Belle and Kellonian had escaped earlier. This duo is not so lucky, and Clarice is severely injured by the toothed table before eventually killing the mimic, escaping to the kitchen car with a portion of the beast's tongue affixed to her back. Will the Bards get to the bottom of what's happening on the train? Will Clarice survive her wounds or succumb? There's still much more of the train to explore, and all shall be revealed soon.
You wanted monsters all slain by their betters, but you ain't seen nothing like arts and letters. Look who has answered the cry of distress. Oops, it's all bards. Oh, what a mess. You think we're a joke, but in truth we're all id. We fight like we learned it in books, 'cause we did. We all survived college with charisma impressive. Oops, it's all bards, and yes, it's excessive. If you're still confused, we'll explain to you thus. There's nobody left, so that's why they called us. We'll fight or we'll otherwise roll for successes. Oops, it's all bards. We hope that addresses all that you have to know to enjoy listening to our all bard party sent off on a mission. How'll it go?
Well, we're sure you can guess.
Oops, it's all bards. Oh, what a mess.
Endric Harrowhold, Urade Hall.
Belsernamio, Flatley Hall.
Kellonian Stumps, se01ep08 College.
Clarice Sauercloud, Talmadge Hall.
Cretaceo Thunderthigh, se01ep08 College.
Welcome to Oops All Bards, the actual play podcast that does what it says on the box. I'm your host and game master, Jillian Ashley Blair Ivy, but if you call me anything other than Jill, you should know that I screen my calls. Bards, please introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Tateson Hadas, and I play Cretaceo Thunderthigh.
Hi, I'm Ann Coleman, and I play Clarice Sauercloud.
Hello, Ashley Banks playing Belsernamio.
Hi, I'm Ross Curry, and I play Endric Harrowhold.
This is Bob Kellyan. I play Kellonian Stumps.
And I'm Nate Runkle, the producer, who may have let Google AI introduce me since I do not speak in this episode.
Okay, let's do a quick recap of what happened in the last episode. Belle and Kellonian, you encountered a mimic in the first-class dining car and basically noped out of that situation after magically warning the other bards about the mimic's presence. Andric, you escorted the porter Higgins to the front of the train to try and find out from the engineers what made the train stop. While you were doing that, Clarice, you produced the portable hole, which I don't think I will ever be able to say with a straight face. And then you and Crottatio tried to convince Gideon to climb into the hole and fake his escape by making it look like he climbed out the windows. Crottatio, you tried to force the windows open, and then Clarice realized they just needed to slide. No force, no magic required. Gideon finally agreed to climb down into the hole, and so then we flash back to what Andric and Higgins were doing, which was basically trying to find out from the comically mismatched Goblin engineer and Goliath assistant engineer what made the train stop. The engineers explained that they had seen something on the tracks, but when the Goliath stepped out to investigate, he didn't really see anything there, so it was fine for the train to start moving again. Andric, you and Higgins headed back to the first-class car, but when Higgins saw Gideon trying to hide in the hole, he attacked and revealed his true colors. Then there was a lot of fighting that was basically exactly what you'd expect from a bunch of bards and one middle-aged monk who are having a fight on a train, complete with a big magical hole in the aisle. Andric, you basically said you got this to your compatriots and set back up the train to investigate the porter car and the coal car. In the porter car, you found some clothes and muddy boots that had clearly been stashed in a hurry. And then in the coal car, you found a porter's uniform buried amongst the coal, and determined that a water bottle that you rattled probably had a body in it. And so then you got back to the first-class car, basically just in time for Crottatio to kill Higgins by kicking him into the hole. Belle and Kellonian, you had headed down to the kitchen car after you escaped the Mimic, but you weren't exactly stealthy about it. So when Kellonian walked in first, he wound up with a kitchen knife in each shoulder, which was thrown by another person in a porter uniform. Kellonian, you, once you got into combat, decided to recite a haiku to cast sleep on the porter because you didn't have your guitar with you. And then you and Belle, once the porter was unconscious, looked for something that you could tie him up with, and eventually just decided to use his own belt. Clarice and Andric, you left Crottatio and Gideon and also Higgins' dead body so that you could catch up with Belle and Kellonian. Even though you knew that there was a mimic in the next car, you weren't as lucky as they were, and you did have an encounter with it. Although you eventually triumphed, Clarice, you took quite a bit of damage, and now you have the mimic's severed tongue stuck to your back. And I think that catches us up. So let's get back to the kitchen car. Andric and Clarice have just passed their acrobatics checks to move smoothly between the first-class dining car and the kitchen car. You see an unconscious porter at the far end of the car, who seems to have been tied up, wrists are bound with a belt. I don't know, Belle, did you hog tie him, or the wrists and ankles all tied up with the same belt?
I feel like yes.
Yeah.
I feel like she wasn't gonna risk him being able to like get up and wander off.
Yeah, and you know, I'm not gonna make you roll for that. I feel like there is some part of recreational activity that Belle has participated in that makes her pretty decent at tying knots.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I do feel in my soul, and this can be valid or not, that Belle found a Sharpie and wrote "bad guy" on his forehead.
I'm super okay with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just in case there was any ambiguity.
There were probably Sharpies in the walk-in because, you know, chefs use Sharpies to, like, label this is the chicken stock and this is the beef stock and this is the tallow. And so, I feel like we didn't say it explicitly, but it's not unreasonable that you would have found a Sharpie.
Yeah, and I feel like Belle would be like, if this person gets up, like, this is Belle being very, very clever, right? If this person gets out of this belt, wakes up and is wandering around, they're not going to immediately know that they've been labeled.
I love it. So
roll for Shibari.
We're not going to roll for Shibari. But Clarice and Andric, you have come across this unconscious but beginning to stir porter who is tied up with the words "bad guy" written across his forehead in Sharpie in what is clearly Belle's handwriting, because we've established before that Belle has very distinctive handwriting. Otherwise, there is this entire kitchen before you where there may or may not be other things that are useful to you. Foodstuffs if you are hungry, but obviously you're kind of in a hurry right now, so up to you to decide what you are doing while you are in this kitchen.
Looks like Belle's been here.
Yeah. She done good.
Yes, and I'm sure she's getting herself into trouble. Let's go find her.
Do you see a med kit or anything in here? Because I'm a little banged up, and, anything that I could use to get this tongue off me would be great.
And recalling back to the kitchen at the Harrowhold, of course, there must be some kind of medical kit. This is a kitchen.
Roll an investigation check.
I'm not in the room, but also, there's probably knives if you want to just chop the tongue off.
Yeah. There definitely are knives. Some of the knives were thrown at Kellonian, but Kellonian pulled them out of his shoulders. So there are a couple of perhaps bloodied knives on the ground, but there are also plenty of other knives. So Andric or Clarice, I would say. Clarice just asked Andric if he sees. So maybe let's do Andric investigation check with advantage.
23, 19 plus 4.
Yeah, so over one of the sinks that seems to be the burn unit, you see that there had been certainly space where there were first aid kits, but they have been removed. I will also tell you that with your 23, let me go back over to the correct sheet here, just a moment. Okay, I will also tell you that with your 23, you notice down below that cabinet a bunch of grapes that are just sitting there on a plate. And you know from your experience with magical training that sometimes foods can have healing abilities.
Seems that the first aid kits have been purged, but berries?
Grapes.
Sorry.
What?
Someone has stripped this kitchen of the first aid kits, so maybe a little sugar pick-me-up?
Yeah, okay. Clarice is gonna eat half a grape. She's gonna take a half bite to see if it hurts her.
Nothing happens.
She's gonna take a bunch of grapes and she's gonna just start walking along the train, munching on some grapes.
Okay, how many grapes do you think that you've grabbed?
I think the bunch that I've grabbed is probably 12, but I don't think I'm eating all of them right away. I think I'm still sort of half at a time waiting to see if anything happens to me.
So I will tell you that as you eat each half of a grape, you don't really notice much. By the time you've had 5 whole grapes, you start to notice that maybe you're feeling a bit stronger. At 10 grapes, you've regained 1 hit point.
Thank you much.
You're welcome. So if you need to go back and grab some more grapes while this porter is in the process of waking up, feel free to. You can. There are 40 more grapes still on that platter.
I'm gonna eat them all.
Okay. That is 5 hit points restored for you. Funny thing with the doll bard party, sometimes I just have to sneak some things that heal into the background. With a high enough investigation check or a daring enough bard, you might find more things.
Just wait till season 2 when we have Oops All Barbarians.
Oh God.
So Clarice is now healed for 5 hit points. The porter down at the end of the car is very much awake and kind of struggling against his restraints. What would you two like to do at this point?
Is it possible to do some kind of, I'll say, non-lethal blow to try and just get this person back unconscious?
Do you have sleep or another spell, or do you want to just try? I mean, we can try to conk him over the head.
Yeah, I would rather just even either with the butt of a dagger or my sword, just
bonk.
I know Belle's handwriting, and I can see bad guy, and despite Belle's and my differences, I trust when she writes bad guy on someone's forehead. But I'm not just gonna kill someone who's tied up and not a threat. So
okay, so you're basically rolling for non-lethal damage, but it's the same mechanic.
Right. So am I doing unarmed strike or with?
Yeah, unarmed strike. Yeah, I mean, you're using the butt end of your sword, so we're gonna call it an unarmed strike. It's just roll it with advantage because there's a little bit of weight.
And he's prone, so that's also advantage on a melee.
Yeah. So so just roll it with advantage.
21
hits.
And again, I'm not trying to do lethal damage, so I don't know if you want me to roll anything.
Roll. We're gonna do half damage on this since you're going for non-lethal.
All right, so it's 1d4 plus 2 halved. That's 3 halved, 1 point of damage.
Okay. So he's down, unconscious again. We're gonna say that this will buy you. It's from being conked on the head. We're gonna say this will buy you 5 minutes. It's non-magical sleep.
Fine.
Anything else that you feel like you need to do in the kitchen car?
I mean, Andrew, that was great.
Clarice, how are you feeling?
I'm okay.
Okay. We're gonna go find Belle now.
All right. So we're going to flash into the coach dining car where Belle and Colonian, I will need you both to roll your acrobatics checks to see if you had moved into that car safely.
16.
You passed?
13.
You passed. You're both good. So you're in the car a minute or two ahead of your compatriots. So you get a couple of minutes there to yourselves in the coach dining car. What do you want to do?
I mean, what do we see? What's the...
In the coach dining car, there are a couple of passengers who seem a bit dazed. They had maybe gone for some late night coffee or snacks. It's more, think of like the Amtrak snack car. So whereas the first class dining car looked more like a restaurant, this is more like a, fast food sort of like grab a sandwich that's prepackaged, grab a coffee, something along those lines, and sit in one of the booths. So you are in the coach dining car. Most of the coach dining car is occupied by 4 top booths. Right in about the center of the car, there is a food counter. There is nobody working behind the food counter. There are about half a dozen other people in the coach car. They all seem kind of dazed. They'd been in here when the train abruptly stopped and had already been confused and trying to figure out what was going on. And now that the train is moving again, without any sort of announcement or apology or update, they're even more confused.
Quick question. So when we went into the other dining car, everything was everywhere. Not just from, it seemed like not just from the train stopping suddenly, but also, maybe somebody ransacked it?
No, everything was everywhere from the train stopping, because you and Clarice had briefly been in there before, or, you'd been in there for a couple of seconds before the train stopped, so you had enough of an opportunity to see. When you were in the first-class dining car, it was just, beautiful white tablecloth set up with china and crystal and silverware.
So things are less overturned here by nature of things being bolted to the floor.
Yes. Yeah, cool. This is the seating there is booths and tables that are mounted to the floor and the wall. So there aren't going to be any overturned tables. There's not, they're not preset with dishes and silverware, so there's not going to be a bunch of stuff that's just in disarray. If you go over to the snack counter, you might see that there are some things that have been jostled around, some things that have been overturned. There is a puddle of what had probably been pretty hot coffee on the floor, but you also don't see anybody there who seems to be burned, so it's not like it fell over onto somebody.
Cool.
And you said the people seem kind of dazed. Are they kind of looking around? They're trying to figure out what's going on?
Yeah, they're really confused by the fact that, first of all, the train stopped so abruptly, so they all got kind of shaken up a little bit. They all took the same damage that you did, the bludgeoning damage from the train stopping and them slamming into the furniture. Some of them probably spilled some food on their laps or, on their shirts, that sort of thing. And now the train is moving again, but the engineers or the conductors didn't make any sort of announcements. Porters haven't been through to check on them. So there's some murmuring, talking amongst themselves. They're trying to just figure out what's going on. Nobody is hurt to the extent that they're actually stunned or in shock. They're just trying to... It's the middle of the night. They wanted coffee, and now something is going on the train, and they don't know what.
Cool. Belle is going to just sort of like flash a brilliant smile at everybody and be like, "Hi, everyone. Just wondering, have any of you seen a porter or maybe somebody that looks like a porter anytime really during this whole trip?"
They're mostly just going to stare at you blankly and shake their heads. If you're not asking anybody specifically, you're not going to get a whole lot of information out of them.
I mean, the general shaking of heads, I feel like, is a vibe.
Okay.
Kelonian is going to say, "Oh, we had a bumpy stop there. Is anyone in need of medical attention?"
There's like one kind of elderly half-elf is going to raise a hand and say like, "I spilled some coffee on my lap."
Let's see what we can do about that.
Are you going to like approach him and try to examine the
Yes.
burn? Okay.
Yes. I will do a medicine check, I presume.
Yes.
All right. 21.
You'll have to take his pants off to see this. Well,
I'm a medical professional.
Yes.
Keeping it profesh.
So he's just wearing like khakis. He's dressed like everybody's grandpa. You can see there's a coffee stain on his lap. When you pull the pants down, his thighs are a little red, but they're not like severely burned. It is nothing that can't be taken care of with a couple of ice cubes.
All right. Well, it looks like you're okay. You don't need any immediate medical attention. I would say put a little bit of ice on it. You'll be feeling better real soon.
Is there any ice? Can Belle find ice behind the snack stand?
Yeah, you can certainly look. I will tell you, we established in the kitchen that this is a pre-refrigeration era, but there are ice boxes. So there would be like behind the snack stand, there would be like probably a box or a bucket of shaved ice that came off of a large ice cube.
Great. So Belle's gonna hop over the counter and help herself to some ice and put it in wrap it in a cloth and then pass it to Kelonian.
Great.
Oh, thank you very much, Belle. How very kind. Here you are, sir.
Thank you. And he's just gonna he's not gonna pull his pants back up. He's just gonna sit there with the ice on his lap.
Yeah, you do you, buddy.
That's the only person who indicated that they were hurt, and honestly, probably he was one of the less hurt people in the car, but nobody else feels like they are hurt enough to require medical attention.
I'd also like to use prestidigitation on his pants.
Okay.
Because you can instantaneously clean or soil an object no larger than 1 cubic foot. So I'm just going to clean the coffee.
Great. Thank you, young lady. That was very kind of you.
Belle's going to say, "It's my pleasure," and then give him a big thumbs up and a grin.
He's going to give you, he's got really shaky old hands, and he's just going to, give you this very unsteady thumbs up, and when he smiles at you, you see that he's missing several teeth.
Aww, you remind me of my dad. No, we've all met Belle's dad.
Mitt definitely has all of his teeth because he does nothing but eat.
We saw your dad eating.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes, he also is not shaky or old because he's an Asimir. So there's really no resemblance except Belle has just decided.
All right. As you are tending to this elderly half-elf, Clarice and Andric are going to, I assume, come onto this coach dining car. So you'll both need to roll acrobatics checks.
30-20.
I rolled a non-natural 20, but I also have advantage, so if I need more than that, I can do so.
Oh no, you're good. You did a little hop, skip, and a jump. Even though you're still a bit injured, you just hopped right over it. As tiny as you are, no problem for you. Andric, what did you roll?
Also a dirty 20.
Great. You lightly follow behind Clarice. So now you are also in the coach dining car. You've seen basically what I've described already to Kellonian and Belle. All right. So Clarice and Andric, what would you like to do now that the four of you are together?
Hey, good work, Belle, on that bad guy.
Thank you.
Colluding, any chance you could help me with some healing?
Oh, certainly.
Oh, question. Is the tongue still attached?
Yeah.
Amazing. Belle's gonna go over and poke it.
Even though the mimic is dead, the tongue still has a little bit of life in it, so when you poke it, the tongue just kind of flicks a little bit.
Belle's gonna go, ooh! And then she's gonna poke it again.
It flicks at you again.
This is gonna keep repeating.
Clarice is unsurprised and accepts this with no question.
Well, this is real horrifying, Clarice. Let me see what I can do to help you out here. I picked up some healing supplies in the previous car, so let me see if I can give you a little bit of help here. Let's see, as an action, I can spend 1 use of a healer's kit to tend to a creature and restore 1d6 plus 4 hit points, plus additional hit points equal to the creature's maximum number of hit die. The creature can regain HP. The creature can't regain HP from this feat again until it finishes a short or long rest. Okay.
I like to think that the first half of that was just Colluding himself, just like, so I'm going to try to help you. I will restore.
Yes, here's what I can do for you.
Yeah. All right. So roll your healing.
All right. So 7 hit points plus your number of hit die, which I think for us is what, 4? Or
I'm
5,
actually back.
level?
I'm back at full, so don't expend a hit dice.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right.
Great. So you cannot be healed again with a healing kit until after you've had a rest.
Yes, but
you're back at full health. And as you stand up and you're feeling all better, the tongue falls off of you and just is flat on the floor. And your back might be a little slimy from it, but there's no longer anything attached to you.
Belle's gonna prestidigitate Clarice's back.
Gotta love those cantrips.
Yeah. Just assuming you don't want to be slimy.
Good looking out, Belle.
Anything else? Like, now that we've taken the scene, anything suspicious in this room?
Why don't you roll me an insight check?
Garbage.
Okay. I love that your dice actually give you instructions rather than just numbers.
4 plus it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Clarice is gonna look at the faces of the people in the car, and she's gonna look to see if she recognizes any of them, just like pure history, but also she's looking at apparel because we're headed towards a military installation. She wants to see if she sees any indications of rank or enlistment.
In addition to the elderly half-elf who is sitting there with his pants pulled down and some ice on his lap, you see 3 people who are dressed kind of as merchants sitting at one of the booths, and you also see 2 Kenku.
Clarice is gonna walk up to the Kenku.
The Kenku are both going to interrupt their conversation, which was taking place through song lyrics, and they're going to look at you.
I'm gonna say, hi, I'm gonna say some options to you, and let me know if any of them apply.
They both give you a thumbs up.
So, option 1, you're okay from the train stopping. Option 2, you're not okay from the train stopping. Option 3, you have questions.
They kind of tilt their head to look at you to make sure that you're finished.
Sorry, let me be more clear. Please repeat the relevant phrase. I'm okay. I'm not okay. I have questions. I have questions. Okay, I'm gonna give you some additional options, friends. I have questions about the train. I have questions about other things. Do either of those apply?
They just both hold up one finger to indicate it was the first one.
Okay, friends. Well, I have not seen any porters who actually work here. All of the porters I have seen have been masquerading. We have ascertained that the engineer and assistant engineer are just doing their jobs. They don't seem to be a problem. We were up in the engine room. This guy right back here, Clarice points at Andric, saw a thing that was not corporeal, and it went away. So,
are you talking to them in this voice? You sound like a movie cop.
Yeah, I have a habit of changing my behavior as needed.
Okay. So the Kenku are going to look at you and then look back at each other and then look at you. They're going to go, "Hey, what's going on?"
Clarice is unsurprised because she has encountered Kenku before. And she's going to say, well, I'm sure you've heard about the return of Malveaux.
They both nod.
I suspect that there are bad actors trying to stop this train's progress. I have no evidence for this. It's just a hunch. But I
feel like the presence of people trying to kill you would count as evidence.
Well, I was about to say thank you, Crotaceo, from 3 cars away.
No, Crotaceo isn't with you.
Okay.
This is a Tage interjection. This is
oh wait, are you part of this game?
It's been. I'm just chilling with my uncle.
We'll check back in with you in a couple of minutes.
One of the Kenku says, "It's been a while."
I believe that it is because we do have my uncle. You may be familiar with our Secretary of War, Gideon Stormcaller.
They both nod.
He is traveling on this train on an important mission, and I believe that was the interruption. I would just say take care of each other and be sure not to trust any porters, because thus far they have all been jerks.
All right, they'll look at you and kind of nod their heads and shrug.
And then Clarice is going to say, I'm going to present you with some options, and then I'm going to be on my way. Are you okay for now? If so, say, I am okay. I am okay. Great. Be well.
Did you so nobody can see this because we're an audio medium, but Clarice just saluted.
Yeah.
So they are going to like very confusedly salute you back.
Yep, that's the plan.
Okay.
Just want to make sure.
Think that they're talking to a combination cop and military official.
I mean, you are on your way. Like the next stop. Actually, yeah, it is. It's the next stop on the train is Tabortsava, which is where the military base is. So it's not unreasonable that there would be an MP on board. Tiny little person, young person dressed in civilian clothes, probably not the sort of MP they're used to talking to or encountering, but it's possible.
And yeah, maybe that's the point.
Just above table, Clarice's motivation here is to try to make sure that the people within this car don't get on the wrong side of this conflict. So she's just trying to make sure that people feel supported, cared for, and like I'm a friend, just in case I come back running through and say, run!
Yeah, Kelonian is interested in addressing the car to sort of give them an update and make people, hopefully feel maybe a little bit less frightened.
All right. Go for it.
Okay. Listen up, everybody. We've encountered a difficult situation here on the train. It seems that many of the porters are not who they claim to be. are not porters on this train at all. Now, I don't want you all to be scared and worried. I would say they seem to be after something on the train, so if you encounter them, please keep your distance and stay away, and hopefully they won't bother you, but we're going to try to figure out what's going on here on the train. However, if one of the porters comes to you and says something portery that you're supposed to do, I would take that with some skepticism and just try to avoid them as much as possible.
And I will do whatever check you would recommend to assure them. I don't know if that's like a performance check, maybe.
I think a persuasion check.
Persuasion? Okay.
Yeah.
19.
They all nod at you, and they are inclined to listen to you.
All right.
Belle is also nodding.
Belle is also nodding. Anything else that you want to do in this game?
I would like to do a check to see if anybody seems a little sus.
Okay. So, do an insight check.
Oh, the thing I'm so good at. Woo! Nat 20!
Okay.
For a total of 21.
So there are the 6 people in the car. There's the elderly half-elf who you and Keylonian helped with his non-burn. There are those 2 Kenku who Clarice has been talking to. And then there are the 3 people who are dressed like merchants who are sitting at a table, all kind of... They're all talking, and they're kind of turned in toward each other to avoid anybody really being able to hear them or read their lips.
So, would you say they're looking a little sus?
I would say that behavior is certainly a bit sus.
Cool. Belle, is there anything else that I get from... I just want to milk that nat 20 for all it's worth.
One of them has a briefcase that's like on the... It's not in the aisle, but it's sitting on the bench. So there are 2 of them on one side, 1 on the other. The one who's sitting by themselves has a briefcase. On that briefcase, you see the words Varga Bettina's Rare Goods. And when they notice you walking toward them, they're going to pick up that briefcase and turn it around so that the lettering is facing toward them. And now you see the lettering on the other side, which says Varga Bettina's Antiques. So there's a clear distinction between how they define rare goods and how they define antiques.
Cool. Would I recognize the brand or anything about that Bettina?
No.
Okay.
No.
I didn't think so, but I thought I'd check. I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna put on my warmest smile, and I'm gonna say, are they all, what makeup of pronouns do we think this group has?
There is somebody who is female presenting, somebody who's male presenting, and the person with the briefcase is a bit more androgynous.
Great. So Belle's gonna walk over and say, hello, distinguished merchants. I just wanted to check in with you and see, how things are going. Are you okay? Did you spill any coffee? Just, checking in because the porters aren't, you know what I mean.
And the one who had the briefcase is going to look at you and be like, yeah, we're fine. We're fine. We're fine.
Cool. So I'm sure you heard my friend Keylonian's super helpful and informative speech, but I just wanted to reach out to you personally, see if you have any questions or concerns that we can address, or anything we can help you with. Would you like me to get you a snack? And I don't know if maybe I can do a persuasion or performance just to get them to maybe trust me a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Not be met with suspicion. And you get what I'm saying? She's just trying to be warm and welcoming and irresistibly charming.
Yeah, I think that you can do a performance check to see if you can win them over.
19.
So, with a 19, the one who had the briefcase will look up at you and be like, suddenly just notices who you are and be like, You look very familiar to me. Are you? Oh my god. Are you a Cernomial?
Belle's gonna just give her megawatt wide smile and say, yes, I am. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for noticing. And she's just gonna like flip her hair.
So the male presenting merchant across the booth is going to stick out a hand to you, shake it very enthusiastically, assuming you accept.
Oh, 100%.
I'm Casto Whaley. It is so nice to meet a Cernomial. You have no idea how many times I've tried to make appointments with your family.
Oh, I am so sorry about that. It's very hard. We're all very, very busy. But now I've met you, and do you have a card or something? I can see if I can try to fit you in.
He's going to prestidigitate, just kind of like gesture, and a card is going to appear, and it's going to say Casto Whaley's Antiquities on it, but there's no address or other contact information.
So she's going to take that, and she's going to be, so is there like a I rip it and you appear kind of thing, or invisible ink number?
Just remember the name, and next time I call on your family, say something nice about me.
I will, and I will say that you have excellent choice in font for your business cards.
And he's going to look at the woman next to him and be like, that's all my wife's doing. She's the designer. And the woman sitting next to him, who is also like dressed as a merchant, much more soft-spoken, but like in a way that makes you think that perhaps she's starstruck by meeting a Cernomial. It's gonna be like, yes, that I designed the cards. Can I get your autograph?
Of course. Now, she's gonna like look around to see if there's like anything to sign.
Cassio's gonna prestidigitate another card for you.
Great. She's gonna pull out a pen, which she just has.
Yes.
And she's gonna be like, and who do I have the pleasure of making this out to?
Oh my god. My name is se01ep08. Whaley. Cassio's my husband. We have this business. Oh my god, you're talking to me.
Yes, and you are just such a delight. So she's writing a whole message while she's having this conversation. What's your business? Tell me everything. Is it making font choices for other people? Because honestly, some of the signs that I've seen could really use your eye.
Yeah, I mostly do the merchandising for Casto's store, and then Varga over here, we do a lot of business together. We both Casto and Varga procure rare goods together, and sometimes they just happen to there's exchanges of goods, and we were just all at this convention, and yeah, I mean I don't really do a whole lot.
I don't know. It sounds to me like you do a ton. Don't sell yourself short, girl.
She kind of blushes.
So she's gonna finish, and she wrote like a cute little thing that's like, keep doing what you're doing. Like lots of very vapid encouragement.
And on this like tiny business card, you've just gotten.
Yeah, there's a whole paragraph on one side, and then on the other side is just Belle.
Like written right over Casto's name.
Yeah, takes up the whole space, and there's a heart. Yeah, 100%.
Okay. All right.
Yes, and then she's gonna look over at the one with the briefcase and be like, "Do you want me to sign anything? Maybe the briefcase, or?"
You know what? No, I try not to really fawn over celebrities too much. I encounter quite a few in my line of business, actually, and I feel like it's important to treat you like you're real people.
Oh, I appreciate that so much, but honestly, I'm used to it, and anything, if I can make somebody's day even just a little bit brighter, then why wouldn't I, right?
Do a charisma check.
Just straight charisma?
Straight up charisma.
13.
So for a 13, you see just the corner of Varga's mouth kind of start to twitch a little bit and turn down and be like, really, we're okay. We've got some business to discuss. It's been so lovely meeting you, Mr. Namiel. And, yeah. And just kind of like turns to close off the circle again.
Damn. I'm losing them. Oh, okay. So Belle's gonna be like, oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. I don't want to take up any more of your time. Gosh, look at me. Just talking about myself, inserting myself into your conversation. It's so rude and inconsiderate, and I just really apologize. Here, let me make it up to you. You said you guys do, like, antiquities and rare stuff. We are currently planning for the Jubilation Festival, and we were talking about having a new merchant's wing. Huh? So, like, I don't know if maybe you guys are interested in, offering some of your wares. Obviously things that are cool and rare and unique are all what it's about. So what, like, more specifically, though?
And Varga's gonna look at you and say, I mostly deal in art. Just art. And
I love art.
Clarice, having heard the mention of art, is going to look at the overhead compartments, if there are any.
There aren't, because you're in the cafe car, so this isn't like where they would be. Like, these are not their permanent seats. This is like they came in here to get some coffee.
All right. She's just going to look under and around them. Besides the briefcase, is there anything that suggests they kept it with them?
Investigation check.
Okay.
Thank you to Anne. You are my favorite.
I will be less your favorite because I rolled a 5 on my investigation check.
But you tried, and that's what's important.
So yeah, you don't, for a 5, you definitely don't notice. Well, I will tell you, you do not see any other baggage of any sort, but you don't notice anything else either.
Well, having looked from a distance, I'm going to come a little closer to where Belle is talking to them. And I think the only keyword I heard was art where I was. So coming closer, I'm going to put on again my suspicious police officer voice.
Okay.
And
we're good cop, bad copping them.
Just say, when you say art, would you say that you are abiding by the legislations and specifications about what is fair use and not, dabbling in pre-Malveaux antiquities?
So pre-Malveaux antiquities would be like actually very valuable. I will tell you that when the Malveaux administration fell, much like when the Soviet Union fell, a lot of the countries that were liberated kind of put like all of the Soviet era art in parks or like specific museums, places where they would still be accessible and viewable, but like within the context. So all of the like pre-autocracy art it's back in museums. You're seeing more of it. What wasn't destroyed by the administration? What is considered contraband is the art of the Malveaux period.
Yeah, having asked that question, I'm specifically avoiding the Malveaux period because what I suspect is that they are maybe carrying Malveaux-related things because that's the whole grand conspiracy we're dealing with. Yes. So I'm asking about pre-Malveaux to determine if they're going to pass themselves off as legitimate.
Okay. Roll me an insight check.
Okay.
I just feel like the sound clip of Anne going, antiquities, is going to play on a loop in my head rent-free for at least a year.
That was a 23, but no nat in there.
Okay. So with your 23, you can see that while Casto and Seraphim are pretty much unbothered by your line of questioning, Varga's eyebrow raises and lowers very quickly. And Varga is going to say to you, well, I mean, yes, I have some clients that want pre-autocracy art. I procured some while I was at this convention. Most of it already has buyers lined up. And yeah, I mean, I didn't break the law or anything. All of these are legally obtained. I've got the receipts, the certificates of sale, the certificates of authenticity. They're all right here.
Excellent, friend. And Clarice is gonna assess on the dining car foretop if there's enough room for her to forcibly scoot herself next to Varga.
They're at Clarice's size. There 100% is.
Great. So she's gonna take a seat, and she's gonna say, "Now tell me, if and this is very softly whispered just to Varga, if the person who was looking for information and maybe a hookup needed to get some additional info or with scare quotes related to some Malveaux memorabilia. I'm not suggesting that you would ever deal in that, but you wouldn't happen to know anyone who, or you know, and of course you would never deal in this yourself, but you wouldn't happen to know somebody at that conference who could maybe have a chat with me and just let me know what kinds of things are moving around these days, what kinds of things are getting purchased and shifted, because, you know, I'm not saying that you would ever do this, friend, but
can Belle interject and just say, like, and obviously the Cernomials would never use their wealth and means to procure any sort of items of that variety, obviously.
But, you know, right about now, with certain goings on, it could be potentially very helpful to have some things lined up, if you know what I mean.
Roll me an intimidation check.
Does Belle backing her up as a potential deep pocket buyer?
Let's say that you've been helped.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for the help, because that's now a non-nat 20.
Nice.
So Varga is going to say, listen, I'm a strong believer that good art, should not be hidden from the public. And so, yes, sometimes I do happen to come across autocracy-era art that I obtain and sell to a very specific, discreet clientele. But I'm not, I know what's happening. Everybody knows what's happening now. That doesn't mean that I'm in support of Malveaux. That doesn't mean that I'm in support of the autocracy coming back. There may be a couple of paintings in the freight car that are from that era. Please don't arrest me.
No, friend. I really appreciate your letting us know. I too really appreciate the importance of history and artistic talent. My real question is actually about where you're taking them, because I have a feeling that not any of your discreet buyers, but that there is important stuff going on right now, where some people interested in these paintings are maybe not as up on, you know, the good things as you.
Varga is going to look at you and say, I mean, I said that I have buyers lined up for most of what I procured. I don't have any buyers for that yet. I usually reach out to those clients when I come across those pieces, and I let them know that I have them. But I don't have any, like, we're just going back to our warehouses and our stores. And I mean, I would be happy to attempt to make contact to introduce you to some of my buyers, if that would be helpful. But nobody is going to be waiting on the other, when the train stops and I get out. Nobody's going to be waiting to take those particular pieces from me.
Clarice is just going to check if she feels like this is being said in earnest.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to say insight for that, or?
Yeah, insight.
That's a 19.
As far as you can tell, Varga is being upfront with you. They have a set of clients who, when they come across these pretty rare items, they will reach out to and say, hi, I've encountered some of this stuff that you were interested in. Do you want to come see it? Are you interested? But they have not been ordered to procure any of this, and they have not yet made contact with any of their buyers about it. The things that have already been pre-sold are like more of the standard antiquities, like, as that is the information that Varga has shared with you, and as far as you were concerned, it's correct.
Clarice, hearing this from Varga, is going to say, friendly advice here. I would not recommend trying to sell those right away. Now is not the time to reach out to your contacts, if you get my meaning.
Yeah, I was already... Actually, that's what we were talking about when you guys walked up.
Understood. Clarice is gonna pop off the little stool and nod at Belle and start to make her way towards the next car.
Okay. We're gonna check in with Cretaceous and Gideon.
So we're just like sitting on the... just like alone post fight. The hole is closed, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Clarice folded the hole back up and brought it with her.
Okay. What else is in there with us?
Your luggage.
Okay.
The magazines that they stuff in the back of the seats.
Okay.
Yeah. There's... Yeah, it's...
Is Angel
sorry.
the chicken still with us?
Angel the chicken is still with you.
Okay, cool. Perfect. Not for any particular reason. She's just adorable. And then Higgins is his... I forget, what did we do with his body?
I believe you propped his body up on one of the chairs, one of the seats.
Okay. Okay. Hey, Uncle Gideon, can I talk to you about something real quick?
Yeah?
Look, I don't know if you remember this about me, but I'm not a fighter. I don't want to do this type of stuff, but my family has kind of always wanted me to be that, and I'm going back home. I'm gonna have to see Mom for the first time in 4 years. I think they're gonna want me to, start training again, be a fighter again, and I don't know. What do you think I should do? I never wanted to be that guy. I came to this school because I wanted to play music. I wanted to sing, and it feels like I'm throwing that all away for this.
Gideon is going to look up at you a bit. I assume you're sitting on seats next to each other?
Yeah.
So Gideon's going to look up at you and kind of what normally would be like a clamp on the shoulder, except that your arms are very short and you're very tall. So it winds up kind of like hitting you in the rib cage a little bit, but it's still like, it's not violent. It's meant to be comforting. I'm like, listen, kid, you were never a fighter. I know that was something that was important to your parents, and frankly, it was something that I was hoping would maybe, as you got older, be something that you kind of like grew into. I mean, look at you. You're just enormous. Like, you should have been a born fighter, but I know your heart's not in it. There have been times in the past, I know we've been at peace your whole life, but there have been times in the past where even the best bards have had to go off to fight. And when they make it out, they make beautiful art. And maybe, just maybe, joining the fight for a little while will actually be better for your art.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe I'll finally see some things worth writing about. Okay, I think that's what I needed. I have to find the beauty in whatever we're about to go through, and it'll be a story to tell, that's for sure.
Oh, make no mistake, kid. There's going to be nothing beautiful about it.
Right. Well, there's tragedy, and there's emotions. It's maybe in order to really be a good artist, maybe you really do have to go through something. I mean, still, the most important thing, of course, is making sure that Malveaux doesn't take over again and start hurting people. But, I just needed to find a reason to be okay with all this fighting. I mean, my friend, Kilonian. I mean, he's all about peace and nonviolence and stuff.
The big turtle guy?
Yeah,
the
turtle guy. Yeah, he's...
Turtle, that's right. Turtle, not turtles are little. Turtles are big.
Yeah, honestly not sure what the difference is. I never felt comfortable asking, but yeah.
Also, I've never had a conversation with a turtle. Turtles, I've met a few in my life. They can talk. Turtles just kind of sit there, Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you know what he's like. I mean, he doesn't want to. He's completely non-violent and pacifistic. I don't really know. I can tell you this. I don't think Mom's gonna like him, but I don't think I'm like that either. I'm somewhere in the middle, like if I have to fight to protect people and protect my uncle, I'll do it. It's just, yeah, I don't know. There's just a lot of feelings going on right now. Hey, everyone's been gone for a while. Do you think everyone's okay?
I mean, maybe.
Do you think we should go and, I don't know, check out the rest of the train? I mean, if one guy attacked us, I would assume there are going to be other people out there. I mean, I don't know, maybe all the other guys are getting into fights or something.
Oh, do you think that there's more fighting to be done? I could totally do some more fighting.
I mean, do you think that's a good idea? I mean, considering you're like the main hostage everyone's after.
I'm not a hostage yet.
No, I suppose not. All right. No use sitting here. Come on, Angel. Why don't you just I just kneel down and let Angel hop on my shoulder like a parrot. Except since I am
animal handling check, please.
Okay. 19 for animal handling.
Angel gladly hops up on your shoulder and kind of snuggles into your neck.
All right, well, guess we can't leave you here. Let's move. All right, so we're going to go into the first class dining.
Yes, so you need to roll an acrobatics check.
Okay, yes. That is an 11.
You just passed. You only needed to roll a 10.
Plus 3 is 14.
Okay. All right, so you needed a 10, so you passed, and Gideon rolled a 12, so Gideon also passes. Gideon is +6 to acrobatics. So
oh, wow.
Very lucky. And so you move through the first class dining car. You see a lot of overturned tables. You see a dead mimic missing half of its tongue at the far end.
Happens.
Is there anything that you want to check out or investigate?
Yeah. Maybe we should go back to the... nope, we're out here. We might as well check this out. I want to check out the mimic and see if I can learn anything, who put this here? Why is it here? Was it, created? to attack people in this train specifically? Just like whatever I can gather from looking at this mimic.
Okay. Arcana check.
That is a 5.
It's a mimic.
Yeah, that's a mimic, all right.
Good job.
What the heck happened to this tongue? You know what? I don't want to know. I guess if there's no one here, we'll just keep going to the next car, to the kitchen.
All right. Gideon sees no reason to hang out. There's nothing to fight in this room, so you keep moving. So it'll be another acrobatics check to move into the kitchen, which I guess you can intuit is the kitchen because it's next to the dining car, but you have not been there yet, so you wouldn't necessarily know it's the kitchen. But acrobatics check.
And that is an 18.
11 for Gideon, so you both pass. You're now in the kitchen. You see a couple of cabinets that have been opened. An empty, like a plate with an empty stem from grapes. And, an unconscious person dressed as a porter tied up at the other end of the car with the words "bad guy" written in very flowery handwriting on his forehead.
Huh. Well, that's interesting. Looks like some of the others have been through this way. Let's check out this porter guy. Is he like fully unconscious?
He's fully unconscious.
Okay. Do we think there's any way to wake him up? Like all right, I'm gonna go down to this guy and just go right in front of his face and then just roar. See if that wakes him up. Just
performance check.
18.
When you do that, you see him like kind of twitch and respond, but he remains unconscious.
Okay. All right, if that didn't work, I imagine he's just going to be out. So we're not going to be able to get any information from him.
Unless you feel like carrying him around with you until he wakes up.
Well, he's not going anywhere. All right. I guess we'll go to the next car.
Is there anything else in the kitchen car that you would like to investigate before you move on?
I have a decent amount of passive perception, if I could use that. I think it's a 15.
Okay.
If I could use that to see if there's anything that would jump out.
Yeah. So you notice that the oven is on, and there is the smell of brownies wafting from the oven. You notice that on the counter are several pre-packaged cheese sandwiches on white bread that are probably not meant for the first class passengers. They're probably meant for the coach passengers. You also see a wheel of brie that has been cut into 12 wedges and some crackers next to it. And you see a box of 10 chocolates.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess that's just general food. I'll go over to the cheese and the chocolate and everything and just like give it a T-Rex sniff, just to see if there's anything strange about it. If it's particularly strong brie, not really a fan of brie, but yeah, I'll just give it a big old sniff.
Do a perception check.
Okay. That is a 15.
They're definitely foods. They don't seem to be poisoned. There might actually, in fact, even be some benefit to consuming some of them.
Okay.
And I say might with a
yeah.
big old D&D caveat that there also might not be.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, food is. Hey, are the brownies done, or is the oven still on? Right.
The oven is still on.
Okay.
You can open the oven and see if the brownies are done.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach for the oven and realize, that's probably a bad idea. So, Uncle Gideon, could you check out these brownies? I mean, I don't know. There's no one else on board, so.
Yeah. You know what? I'm really hungry.
Yeah. It's been a long ride.
Yeah, well, we haven't been on the train that long yet, but it's been a really long day.
Yeah, that it has been.
So he's going to open the oven, see that there is pan of brownies that seem to be like perfectly cooked. And look for like a rag that he can use to pull the tray out of the oven.
Yeah. Okay.
And put them down on the counter.
That's the good stuff. I mean, there are still other passengers on this car, but there are no porter. Is there kitchen staff here? This car is completely empty. What is happening on this train? Okay.
Who is making brownies?
Who is making brownies? Wouldn't they just make them before and then pack them?
We can't discount the idea that maybe the whole kitchen staff is just, magical spirits. That is a possibility. Or the kitchen staff might be missing.
It could be missing. I really want to try some of these brownies, but I don't know. This isn't... that's something that we should actually ask the staff about, if any of the staff are here or actually the real staff. I don't know. I mean, there's one porter. There's two porters who are not actually porters, so...
Yeah, but they do smell delicious.
It smells so... Okay. One brownie each. We're going to have one brownie each.
Rolling a survival check.
Oh my god.
I knew that there had to be something about this. Oh my god. That is a crit fail. That is a nat one.
You don't even bother to take a knife. You just reach your little claw in there and you scoop out a big piece of brownie and shove it in your mouth. And you are going to take 1 point of fire damage from the molten chocolate.
Okay.
And as you are doing that, Gideon is saying to you, wait, they're probably really hot. You should probably just wait.
Okay.
But that's it. Just one point of fire damage for not waiting for the brownies to cool.
All right. For fire damage, I put a 1.
You just count it as damage.
Okay.
The only reason I say what kind of damage it is because you might be resistant. As a lizard folk, you actually may have some resistance to fire damage, but I don't think you do. So you'd have to go into your features and traits, I think is where it is on your sheet, and it will tell you if you have any resistances.
I do not.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just 1 point of fire damage and a lesson learned to let the brownies cool. Maybe the brownies are fantastic after they've cooled down.
They smell great. All right. That's
Gideon is going to pick up a knife and very carefully cut a little piece off and wrap it in a napkin and put it in the inside pocket of his jacket.
Yeah. Why don't we save that for later?
So there's also the wheel of brie that's been cut up, the prepackaged cheese sandwiches, and the box of chocolates if you're interested in checking out any of that.
Let's keep going. Let's see if we actually meet any of the kitchen staff, and then we can ask about grabbing some of that stuff. We've got a long journey ahead of us. I'm sure Mom will have a feast waiting for us when we get there. Well, she might have a feast waiting for you, but anyway, yeah, let's see if we can actually meet the waitstaff of this train first. So we will proceed to the next car.
All right, acrobatics check.
That is a 14.
You're good, and Gideon rolled a 25. So Gideon is also safe. You are now in the coach dining car with the rest of your compatriots. And we're going to go ahead and stop there for this episode. Join us in 2 weeks for the Barbecue, where we'll take a deep dive into episode 8. And then 2 weeks after that, join us for Oops All Bards episode 9. As always, I've been your host, Jillian Ashley Blair Ivy. And on behalf of everyone here at Oops All Bards, thanks for listening. We'll see you soon.
Oops All Bards is created, GM'd, and directed by Jillian Ashley Blair Ivy. This episode was produced, edited, and sound designed by Nate Runkle. Oops All Bards stars Ashley Banks as Belle Sternamiel, Ann Coleman as Clarice Sauercloud, Ross Curry as Andra Carohold, Tej Sinha Das as Cretaceous Thunderthigh, and Bob Killian as Colonian Stumps. The Oops All Bards theme song is by Bob Killian, with additional lyrics by Jillian Ashley Blair Ivy. Oops All Bards is executive produced by The Porch Room. We are part of the Porch Room Network on Spreaker Prime. For more information, visit oopsallbards.com. Thanks, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to Oops All Bards on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your podcatcher of choice. And follow us on Instagram and YouTube at Oops All Bards. We'll see you next time.
Oops, it's all Bards. Oh, what a mess.
Another quality podcast from the Porch Room.